9:07 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mac, you catch the final score last night?
What was it?
Trump won.
Woo!
Just calm down. Calm down. He actually, the New Hampshire primary last night, obviously, he broke the record for the most votes ever received in a New Hampshire primary.
Wow.
Yep. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. He surpassed the record of 152,193 votes set by Bernie Sanders in 2016. So maybe they'll still steal the nomination from him like they did Bernie Sanders. Who knows? Hope nobody gets Seth Riched over this, But pretty wild. Pretty wild. He beat the record by about 400 votes. A little under. Didn't stop Nikki Haley from claiming victory. What would slow her down? She's surging.
Yeah, I was about to say the surge cannot be stopped.
No. She's the greatest female nominee the Republican Party's ever had. So she's surging. She's surging. But the MSNBC had an interesting exit poll that showed the majority of voters weren't even Republican. Actually, a minority of voters were Republican in the New Hampshire primary. I thought this was fascinating.
We asked folks coming into the polls, do you identify as a Republican? Do you identify as a Democrat? Or do you identify as an independent? And here's what we found in this exit poll so far. And I think this jumps right out at you. A minority of voters in this first wave of the exit poll in the Republican primary identify as Republicans. A majority, 53%, identify as either independents, 45%, or, and this is a high number historically, 8% identify as Democrats. For some context here, in 2016, the last competitive Republican presidential primary in New Hampshire, the electorate was 55% Republican. It was 42% independent, and it was 3% Democratic. So in this initial wave, you're seeing some significant differences from 2016.
Now, that didn't stop the left-wing liberal outlets from saying, Trump is repeating these lies that Democrats are voting in the New Hampshire primary. But it wasn't a lie, and it was proved to not be a lie by their own reporting. CNN was interviewing Nikki Haley voters. Air quotes. For those of you not watching on Super Talk TV, air quotes. CNN says, I can't believe Trump would repeat that lie that Democrats are voting in this primary. It's a lie. Okay, well, let's look at the CNN reporting.
And why did you vote for Nikki Haley?
It's a vote against Trump. I think it would be better to have her against Biden in the elections than it would be Trump and her.
Do you consider yourself generally independent, Republican, or Democrat?
Democrat.
Oh.
So when you undeclared, you voted for Nikki Haley. If it was Nikki Haley against Joe Biden in a general election, who are you voting for?
Joe Biden.
Yeah, all right. That's CNN's own reporting, debunking CNN's own reporting. Isn't that weird how that always works out? Just leave it to the left-wingers to debunk the left-wingers. But it was moments after Trump's victory speech on CNN that they had their political analysis say, I can't believe Trump's repeating this lie that Democrats are voting in this election. Okay. But earlier in the day.
Independent, Republican, or Democrat?
Democrat.
Oh, okay. Isn't that strange? Do you not watch your own network? Now, I do understand that no one watches CNN. So I don't blame the people that are on CNN for not watching CNN. There was actually a latest ratings thing that even the History is blowing out CNN, the History Channel. I didn't know the History Channel was still a thing. Do they run even history anymore? Or they just do the aliens, ancient aliens. It's pretty much just ancient aliens, right? But it wasn't just left-wing CNN that was really reporting the news that these Nikki Haley voters weren't Republicans. MSNBC did it too.
Who did you vote for and why? Yeah, so thank you. I voted for Nikki Haley, and it was certainly a strategic vote. I think that the DNC is fairly resolute in their nomination for Joe Biden. And while I wouldn't vote for her in a general election, particularly on our differences with climate change solution, a woman's right to bodily autonomy, or incarceration rates, I think a vote for Nikki Haley helps diminish Trump's influence in the RNC and their nomination, but is also a vote towards democracy.
And Christian is emblematic of so many conversations that I've had here throughout the day.
Oh, he's emblematic. So many conversations like this. But Democrats didn't vote in the primary. So, Nikki Haley's surging, right? The surge is in. Why is Nikki Haley still running? I mean, a lot of people point to the fact that she's waiting until probably February 8th to see what happens with these ballot decisions, with these indictments. So that way she can be the heir apparent to Trump if he, for some reason, can't run. But a lot of other exit polls said, yeah, even with a felony, I'm still voting Trump. And I like to consider myself the same. I'd vote Trump even harder. I would slam down that button if he had some felonies. I would. Don't shake your head at me. I would break voting machines with how hard I would press those buttons if he had some felonies. I can't be the only one. I can't be. It was wild. AP, the Associated Press, they called New Hampshire even faster for Trump than they did Iowa. 27 minutes faster than the Iowa caucuses, which made me a little bit upset that we didn't have a side hustle, a little side money on how fast they call it.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Because, we did that during the debates. How many clips would Nikki Haley post versus Ron DeSantis?
Yes.
So, all right, with Nevada and then with South Carolina, we're going to do side bets.
Love it.
On how quick the AP calls the race for Trump.
Great.
Okay?
Yes. I love that.
That's a good one, right?
That's a great one.
All right, so that's going to be, as we proceed down this line.
Yes.
That's going to be some of our new side hustle.
Okay, great.
All right?
Yes, I love it.
We'll have to do like something on there. I don't want to do money, but we could do like lunch or something.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it'll be fun, right?
Yeah, get Murphy in on it again.
Yeah, Murphy will be in on it.
Yeah, I love
Murphy
it.
wants in on that action. We'll drag Ken Weaver into it too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So the Associated Press called New Hampshire primary for Trump 27 minutes faster than it called the Iowa caucuses. The reduced time between the two calls, it basically shows that the establishment media is hanging their head in shame and understand that Trump is dominant. It was 4 minutes after the polls closed that they called it for Trump. 4 minutes. Yikes. She's surging. She's surging.
Yeah, she's surging, bro.
She is surging. I mean, it was even less. It was 7:03 that the AP called it. So it was like 3 and change.
Jeez.
Wild, right?
It's embarrassing.
Now, in Iowa, the AP called the race 31 minutes after the caucus closed. So they waited a little while after Iowa, where Nikki Haley came in third and rallied the troops among that amazing victory. So Trump is the de facto Republican nominee. He is. Even people that a lot of us don't really tend to vibe with, shall we say, is that the nice way to say it? We don't vibe with, like Ronna McDaniel of the RNC. Even people like Ronna McDaniel are going on the talking head shows and saying, yeah, Nikki, it's time.
Looking at the math and the path going forward, and I don't see it for Nikki Haley. I think she's run a great campaign, but I do think there is a message that's coming out from the voters, which is very clear. We need to unite around our eventual nominee, which is going to be Donald Trump, and we need to make sure we beat Joe Biden. It is 10 months away till the November election, and we can't wait any longer to put our foot on the gas, to beat the worst president, to beat a president that's kept our borders open, allowed fentanyl to pour through, allowed inflation to go rampant. He is hurting the American people, and we need to do everything we can to unite so that we can defeat him.
Yep. I completely agree. I don't often agree with Ronna McDaniel, but I do today. It's a weird day. I'm disagreeing with Mandis on Nashville's Morning News, and I'm agreeing with Ronna McDaniel. When after the break, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to say, "Is it me?
Is something wrong with me?
Is it? You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to be a little introspective. Is it me?" Nikki Haley spent $31 million in New Hampshire to come in second. $31 million. Dean Phillips came in second in the Democrat primary. He didn't spend $31 million.
Dean.
I honestly, I'm starting to like Dean Phillips.
Wow, up is down, down is up.
I know. Wait until I get to the part of the show where I say I agree with Fetterman. It's a backwards day here. No, I do. I like Dean Phillips. I predict after New Hampshire that we're going to see another wild redemption arc for Democrats in Dean Phillips. And I'll give him 6 months till he's full MAGA. Do you know that?
6 months.
6 months till Dean Phillips is full MAGA. And I'll explain why. He went on CNN and he said that while he was in New Hampshire, he attended a MAGA rally. And he had a pretty good time. I don't know if you've ever been to a MAGA rally. You ever gone?
I've not.
Oh, we're going. I'm dragging you there. They're fun. People have fun. But Dean Phillips was shocked at what he saw at the MAGA rally. I think maybe he thought that he was going to be confronted by right-wing extremism. But he wasn't. Just nice people.
We have a crisis of participation. And I got to tell you guys, I went to a Donald Trump rally a couple nights ago. Never been to one. I had an event across the street. I saw the line of people waiting in the cold for hours. And I thought, what the heck?
First he thought, this can't be a Nikki Haley rally. People are waiting in line in the cold? We must be in the right place. This is the Trump rally.
You know, I'm going to be a leader who actually invites people, doesn't condemn them. Met probably 50 Trump people waiting in line. Every single one of them, thoughtful, hospitable, friendly. All of them so frustrated that they feel nobody's listening to them but Donald Trump. A diverse crowd, people who had never been to a Trump event before. My party is completely delusional right now.
I'm telling you, 6 months. 6 months.
Yeah, he seemed like he had a great time.
He has an onset early MAGA infection. 6 months. Anthony on the super text line wants you to check my temperature, Mac.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He says maybe it's early onset dementia. That's great.
It could be. John said, Chris, I don't know you anymore. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just calling it how I see it. It's been a weird morning.
Yeah. Someone, 5410 said Stranger Things. We're in the upside down.
Yeah. Yep. 0272's with me. Said, Chris, you're definitely not the only one. It's a weird day.
So it's not you. There you go.
All right.
There's the introspection we needed.
I'm still going to look inwards. I promise you. We have more on the way. We haven't even gotten to Donald Trump's reaction to winning New Hampshire. We haven't gotten to the reaction from Nikki Haley's camp. She basically won, if you listen to them. Also, Trump is getting dragged for making fun of her dress that she was wearing. I just want to point out, before Trump dragged her for the dress, we were watching the Nikki Haley victory speech on CNN. Me and my wife. My wife goes, what is she wearing? Did anybody else feel that way? I haven't seen anybody post any pictures online, but I'm sure it was like a $15,000 dress. It looked that awful. I got more audio from Donald Trump on the way, Vivek Ramaswamy, and we'll get into the Biden campaign rally. They're leaning on the only issue they can with Democrat voters in the Biden camp, abortion. Weird. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We got a lot of problems in traffic. Stalled truck blocking 65 southbound on the Northwest Loop downtown. Then part of Harding Place is closed for a crash between Nolensville Pike and I-24. Pothole repairs north of Nashville have 65 north and southbound down to one lane each in Robertson County. We've got the top stories, including an alert about peer-to-peer pay apps coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Reading you guys' text on the Super Text line. Hilarious.
So good.
Hilarious. Somebody said, 1775 texted and said, the mail guy is going to think he tuned in late to the wrong show. Talking about Todd. Todd's already here. He wants to know how much Democrat money did Nikki Haley pocket and wonder what her net worth went up to now. I mean, I don't know. She's hoping to increase that net worth. She spent $31 million in a losing bid. $31 million. Yikes. And Republicans in general wasted $167 million in their losing efforts to defeat Trump in New Hampshire and Iowa. Boy, oh boy, couldn't we have found some better causes for $167 million? Anything? $167 million? The massive amount of money spent in the first two primaries of 2024 shows just how strong Trump is. He's got grassroots support. Trump spent $34 million in both states. $34 million in both states. Dunked on these people.
That's crazy.
Dunked on them. But the other Republican, potentials, $167 million between the two states. In New Hampshire, ad spending for the Republican primary candidates, pro-Haley ads, $31 million. Pro-Trump ads, $15 million. Other, $31. In Iowa, pro-Haley ads, $37 million. Pro-DeSantis, $35 million. Pro-Trump, $18. All others, $33. How much money are they going to spend in Nevada? What about South Carolina? As these losses pile up, will Nikki Haley stay in the race? She's probably got a couple more weeks. We'll have more fun for a couple more weeks. More audio from Trump's victory speech, Nikki Haley's victory speech, and everything else on the way after the news with Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and right now it's the traffic. Got that stalled truck blocking 65 southbound on the Northwest Loop downtown. Then part of Harding Place is closed for a crash between Nolensville Pike and I-24. Pothole repairs slowing down 65 northbound and southbound, both directions down to one lane each in Robertson County. And the Manhattan District Attorney says peer-to-peer pay apps need better security measures or risk people losing thousands of dollars. Alvin Bragg says he sent letters to apps like Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App with some suggestions like transaction limits, secondary verification, better monitoring of unusual activity to keep consumers safe.
The apps provide great services, allowing us to move money around, allow us to stay connected, but these safeguards would go a long way to deterring this criminal conduct.
Both Venmo and Cash App said they're committed to customers without committing to the customer protection, that is, without committing to the reforms the DA is seeking. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Now, you've all heard the chatter among the political class. They're falling all over themselves, saying this race is over. It's not. Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
No, but unfortunately, judging by vote totals, she came in last in New Hampshire. That was Nikki Haley doing her victory lap last night in New Hampshire. Unreal. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Nikki Haley says she's not going anywhere. She was like, this was her Leonardo DiCaprio in the Wolf of Wall Street movie moment. Like, I'm not leaving. You know what I mean?
I ain't leaving.
We're not going anywhere.
This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go.
She's got her rule crew in there.
And the next one is my sweet state of South Carolina.
Actually, on the calendar, fact check this for me, Mac. I believe Nevada comes first. Right?
Fact checking.
I'm pretty sure, Nikki. Pretty sure Nevada's next, and we're just bypassing that one. So South Carolina's next. Okay. Nikki Haley.
True.
Yep.
Fact check true.
Yeah, this is her attempt to dunk on people.
At one point in this campaign, there were 14 of us running, and we were at 2% in the polls.
Surge.
Well, I'm a fighter. And I'm scrappy.
Scrappy Dappy Doo.
And now we're the last one standing next to Donald Trump.
Such a weird flex. There are so many in here, and they've all kind of realized that Trump is going to be the nominee, but I have not yet realized that. Interesting. Well, Trump took no time to waste going right at Nikki Haley when he came out post New Hampshire.
Because I said, wow, what a great victory. But then somebody ran up to the stage all dressed up nicely.
Blue dress.
When it was at 7, but now I just walked up and it's at 14. But she ran up when it was 7. And, we have to do what's good for our party. And she was up and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost. And last week we had a little bit of a problem, and if you remember, Ron was very upset because she ran up and she pretended she won Iowa. And I looked around, I said, didn't she come in third? Yeah, she came in third. And then I looked at the polls. She was talking about most winnability, who's going to win, and I had one put up. I don't know if you see it, but I have one put up. We've won almost every single poll in the last 3 months against crooked Joe Biden. Almost every poll. And she doesn't win those polls. And she doesn't win those. This is not your typical victory speech, but let's not have somebody take a victory when she had a very bad night.
She had a very bad night.
She had a very bad night.
Very bad night. But, she had a lot of Democrats showing out for her. A lot of quote-unquote independents. Trump still won. I believe the final tally was around 11. 11 points. Would have been a lot more without the independents and the Democrats. It'll probably be a heck of a lot more in South Carolina. Vivek Ramaswamy was also there with Donald Trump, and he wanted to say what he saw in New Hampshire last night.
What we saw tonight is America first defeating America last. That's what we saw tonight. If you want America last, you can go to Joe Biden. You got another candidate still apparently in the Republican primary. cut your Social Security to fork over more money to Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house, go to Nikki Haley. But you know who delivered a double-digit victory tonight? It is a double-digit victory as of right now, is this man, Donald J. Trump, the leader of America First. And that means something.
I mean, just roasting her. By the way, the current 538 average for South Carolina has Trump at 62, Haley at 25.
Jeez.
And that's what she's leaning on. That's going to be her sweet home of South Carolina, as she said. We're heading home to South Carolina. Vivek Ramaswamy is absolutely right. You want somebody that's America last or is going to send more money to Ukraine? Got plenty of options. Plenty of options. But Vivek did not stop there.
What we see right now with her continuing in this race is the ugly underbelly of American politics, where the mega donors are trying to do one thing when we the people say another. And it's up to us, to we the people, to at long last say, hell no. We the people create a government that is accountable to us. And we the people have said tonight, we want, again, as we did in Iowa, Donald J. Trump. And so you want to actually speak truth. That's the truth tonight. And the only thing they're rooting for is an ugly thing that we don't want to see happen. That's what these people are rooting for, is playing to say long enough so the Reid Hoffmans and the ugly Democratic George Soros Jr.'s who are funding the lawsuits against Trump can prop up their puppet. We say no to that vision. I say the general election begins tonight, and this man will win it in a landslide. God bless you, Donald J. Trump. Vote Trump USA.
It is amazing that she's being propped up by big Democrat donors. It is amazing that the only reason that she was even remotely close I say remotely close because she was in third in Iowa, but the only reason she was even 11 points down in New Hampshire is because of Democrats, because of independents, and she's propped up by big Democrat donors. That just happened to visit Epstein Island. Normal people, as she puts it. Right? That's what she said. I got the normals. Normies for Nikki.
We got a first time texter that I think I should intrigue you with.
Okay.
Why do you guys? This is 9767. First time texter. Why do you guys suck up to Trump so much? Haley's much better. Get your head out of your A. I honestly can't believe you guys want that narcissistic AF back in office. F you.
Oh, and then they said something about...
they said, yep.
You can call in if you want. 9767. I'll tell you why I like Trump more than Haley. He has grassroots support. He doesn't start new wars. He has a proven track record of, a good economy, getting us towards energy independence, peace through strength. He's not propped up by Democrat donors. I don't know. What is this? Is this real? You trolling me, 9767? I mean, I'm sorry that I hit a nerve. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, call in.
Call in.
Don't use that language, please, but call in.
Yeah, 615-737-9986. I'd like to hear more reasons why you, 9767, like Nikki Haley.
Bingo.
All you said is Haley's much better. And then provided no other points. Do you like candidates that are propped up by big Democrat donors? Oh, Dead02 said, maybe 9767 is Nikki. Mac, fact check that area code. Is it from South Carolina?
Well, Nikki has your number. I mean, she texts you all the time.
This is true. This is true. I mean, what has Nikki Haley done for you? First time texter. 96, 97. Is that what it was? 96, 97?
97, 67.
97, 67. What has Nikki Haley done to improve your life? 97, 67. I put the onus back on you. I mean, listen, everybody is jumping in on the super text line.
Yeah, a lot of people.
A lot of people. 7547 said, how is Trump a hard narcissist when he's been risking his life for the real American people for 8 years? Exactly. Trump doesn't have to do any of this. He could go spend time with his grandkids. He has plenty of money. He could walk away from all of this. I truly believe, that he's doing this because he cares about the country. Trump was the first president to go into the White House and leave with less net worth than when he went in. He didn't accept $1 of the presidential salary. Did Obama donate his presidential salary? Did Joe Biden donate any of his presidential salary? I don't know. Pretty weird.
Kevin says 9767 is one of the big Democrat donors.
Is that Reed Hoffman texting me? Oh, my gosh. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like Nikki Haley on the super text line.
Yes.
If you think I'm bad, you should read some of these texts.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's why I thought I would read the one pro. I thought that would be fair to give that
fair.
voice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's get the voice in.
Didn't mean to derail.
No, I don't think it's derailing. But I think it's important to just point out.
She had a very bad night.
I also think 96, 97 probably
She had a very bad night.
had a very bad night. I mean, with Nikki Haley, you spend $31 million in New Hampshire and you lose. You spend millions upon millions in Iowa. Pro Haley ads totaled $37 million and you lose. It's time to get out of the race. I mean, but you know what? You do have Democrats on your side. Joy Reid was talking about why Nikki Haley's still in the race, and she gets it. Joy Reid has her finger on the pulse of politics, and she knows why Nikki Haley's still in the race.
Now, I'm not saying she could actually get it.
Yeah.
But if you're the donor class that wants Trump gone, you tell her, thug it out for a few months. I'm going to put some more money in your bank account, because if he gets convicted, you do want to have a candidate with enough delegates to go in that can be on the floor and have a floor fight with Donald Trump.
Even the Democrats know that Nikki Haley is only in it to get some more money in your bank account, and you're doing it for the donor class. Thug it out, baby. Thug it out. Thugging your way to last place. Nikki Haley. Unbelievable. I don't know. I'm still waiting for the call.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like,
I'm looking at the phone lines.
I would
Chris.
love it.
Not happening.
And I'd let him talk.
Oh, 100%.
He or she or
Yeah.
Z or Zer. They, thems. Whatever you want.
Yeah, Derek texted in, bruh, I strongly dislike Trump as much as the next guy, but I'll be damned if I ever support Nikki, the Warhawk, McCain, simp, rhino.
Oh, based. Hey, we can agree to disagree, but on Trump, but I think you're right on Nikki Haley. It's 9:50 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Problems in traffic. Got a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane, 40 westbound at Hermitage Avenue. Then we've got pothole repairs slowing down 65 north and southbound through Robertson County, about a 5-mile stretch there, right there starting at the Kentucky border. In Williamson County, a crash reported at 65 northbound just past Concord Road, and here in Nashville, Ellington Parkway southbound before Douglas Avenue. It is official. The Titans have come to terms with a new head football coach, made promotions in the front office, and you might want to back off certain Ford SUVs in traffic because of parts that go flying off. Details at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So we had a super texter, 9767, sent us a message. Why do you guys suck up to Trump so much? Haley's much better. He called in.
Yeah. Talked to him.
And then he hung up. We don't know where he went.
Within a minute, hung up. Said he was good, ready, excited.
Yeah. So 9767. Please call back.
Chris isn't mean.
No, I literally will give you time to speak. Won't talk over you. I'll let you make your case for Haley. I would love to hear it.
Dialogue, man.
Yeah.
We want it.
Like, and you can call me, a pro-Trumper or say I'm sucking up to Trump. Listen, I'm welcome to hear that too. But I'd honestly more want to hear why you think Haley is so much better. Please call.
That was such a tease.
Dude.
Having
me
him
and
on
Mac
and everything.
were like so excited to talk to you.
So pumped.
Like, and if 9767 doesn't want to call, any other pro-Haley people out there? Anybody? Any?
That was mean.
That was mean.
Sorry.
That was Mac.
That was yeah. I said Chris would be nice.
They're going to think that I'm the one being mean.
Exactly.
And it's not me.
I said Chris would be nice. I didn't say anything about me.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, I played this quote from Joy Reid last night talking about Nikki Haley.
Now, I'm not saying she could actually get it.
Yeah.
But if you're the donor class that wants Trump gone, you tell her, thug it out for a few months. I'm going to put some more money in your bank account, because if he gets convicted, you do want to have a candidate with enough delegates to go that can be on the floor and have a floor fight with Donald Trump.
And I said, I'm agreeing with Joy Reid now. This is a weird day. John texted and he said, Chris, now you're quoting Joy Reid. Go home. Take some aspirin. Unplug. Go to bed. You are not well. Maybe so. Maybe so. All right. 96, 97. Was that what it was? 96, whatever your number is. You know who I'm talking to. Call back, please. Please call. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot this Wednesday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes, and it is official, I should say. The Tennessee Titans say they've got their new head coach. The Titans and Brian Callahan agreed to terms this morning. Callahan, who comes to Nashville from the Bengals, where he was offensive coordinator, will be introduced at a press conference tomorrow. Owner Amy Adams Strunk says in a statement they went through a thorough candidate search, and Callahan, she says, stood out as the best person to lead the team. In addition to hiring Callahan as head coach, the team promoted Ron Carthon to executive vice president and GM, and then Chad Brinker to president of football operations. Peer-to-peer payment apps like Venmo and Cash App being asked to enhance security to protect consumers. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg says people are too vulnerable to losing thousands of dollars right now.
If I put my hand in your pocket 20 years ago, I might pull out $20, right? But unlike, 20, 30 years ago, if I get a hold of that, I might have all your life savings.
District Attorney calling on the companies to adopt new security measures, including limits on transactions, secondary verification, and better monitoring of unusual activity. Both Venmo and Cash App said they're committed to customer security without committing to the reforms the DA is seeking. And look out for car parts flying off on the interstate. Here's Brian Clark.
Ford is recalling almost 1.9 million Explorers from the 2011 through 2019 model years after a federal investigation into trim that could fly off. This affected trim covers roof supports near the windshield. If they get loose and fly off in traffic, it could increase the risk of a crash. Ford says it's not aware of any accidents or injuries, but has gotten 568 consumer complaints and more than 14,000 warranty reports.
And here's something for the consumer. Johnson & Johnson has reportedly reached a new settlement related to investigations by more than 40 states on claims it misled people on the safety of its now discontinued talc baby powder. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris And. So we were waiting for the Haley supporter 9767 on the Super Text line to text in. Mac had him on the phone line.
Yep.
We were ready to talk to him. Like actually talk, like not just roast him. But he hung up. I said, where'd you go, man? We'd love to have you on. He texted back and said, "Oh, as much as I'd love to, I was just listening on my way to work. Have fun doing what your boss tells you to do." I said, boo. Let's have the convo. They don't want to have a convo. Because you know why he doesn't want to have the convo? Because I said, tell me what you like about Nikki. Tell me what you like. There's no answer for that. There's none.
Well, even in just a short conversation we had on the phone going into his reasoning, yeah, he didn't answer anything about Nikki. It was all immediately about Trump.
Yeah. And that's what it always ends up being, right? It's not Nikki good, it's Orange Man bad. That's how it always goes. It's not Nikki's great. It's not we love Nikki. it's Orange Man bad.
82-12 while he's on the way to work to do what his boss tells him.
LOL. LOL. And on the super text line wants us to call him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably
not a good call.
Probably not a good idea, yeah.
You want to just start calling people? Just cold calling mean super texters?
Exactly.
That'd be a fun bit.
That'd be great.
We should do it when they're not ready for it. Be like, hey, I see here that 2 weeks ago you disagreed with me on this point. I want to see where you're at. We got a first-time texter from 6237. It said, Haley, ? Cut out the middleman. Vote Boeing. It's the truth.
Oh, that's good.
But Nikki Haley voters, they're not motivated by Nikki being great. They're motivated by the fact that Orange Man bad. That's it. There was actually an article in the Daily Mail that supported this. They were polling people in New Hampshire, and they had Haley supporters, they had Trump supporters. And I use air quotes because it's New Hampshire and it's Haley supporters. So they're Biden voters, as we displayed on the CNN reporting, the MSNBC reporting. But Haley supporters are intent on stopping Trump, while his supporters, Trump supporters, are intent on saving the country. And they broke it down. They broke it down like this. They had these charts, right? You know, tell us where you're at. What words come to mind when you hear your candidate's name? Explain why you're voting for your candidate. What word comes to mind? Nikki Haley supporters in New Hampshire, the first word that would come to their mind was Trump. In contrast, Trump supporters would say country, America, border. Fascinating. They say on the Daily Mail, the results of our exclusive poll illustrate how one figure dominates the entire Republican nomination race, motivating not just his supporters, but his opponent's supporters too. More than half of Haley's fans said the main reason for backing the former South Carolina governor was to stop Trump. Whereas Trump supporters on the other side want to save the country, fix the border, fix the economy, and make America great again. It's fascinating. 1833 asked, does 99.7 reach New Hampshire? In fact, you can listen to 99.7 wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app.
Bingo.
We reach people all over the place. We're on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You can watch us.
No excuse.
And we're on all the podcasting platforms as well. We podcast the show on Apple, Spotify, so you can send to your friends. Send to that Nikki Haley supporter that you love. You know what I mean? Share the show. Hit the subscribe button. 0636 texted in. Said, I called into Red Eye Radio last night, and I praised them for not being like you. All right. That's fair. I like the Red Eye Radio guys. I can't stay up that late. Can you stay up that late?
No, sir.
No.
I'm already late for work enough. I can't be.
I call into other shows all the time and praise them for not being like me. I do it often. All right, so, you know, the Haley supporters really are just Biden supporters. And Biden had a campaign event yesterday, and it was in Virginia. There's a huge banner behind him that says Restore Roe, because that is the only thing the Democrats have to run on. Their pro-abortion stance. That's what they do. So Biden opened up his remarks. He was off to a heck of a start.
Hello, Virginia. And the real governor, Terry McAuliffe.
Oh. He said, and the real governor, Terry McAuliffe, insinuating that Glenn Youngkin is not the real governor of Virginia. So you just, let's open up his gotta save democracy, woo-woo, with election denying. Is that what we're doing in the Democrat Party? I thought this was a threat to democracy.
And the real governor, Terry McAuliffe.
Is that not a threat to democracy when Democrats do it? I was under the impression that saying stuff like this
And the real governor, Terry McAuliffe.
was a threat to democracy. No? Not when Democrats do it, right? If Trump said something like that, there'd be investigations. Maybe spineless Republicans can use that to finally get impeachment proceedings rolling. He's denying elections. Maybe. Don't hold your breath. So Biden's in Virginia, and he's going on and on about restoring Roe. That's what he's doing. But he wasn't exactly all there.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband and Kamala's running mate. Kidding aside.
Kidding aside. He had to get into the important points of why we need abortion everywhere, on demand. And you know what? He couldn't get to it. He couldn't get to why abortion was so great because he kept being interrupted by these Palestinian protesters.
Jill and I had a chance to sit down.
So at least his supporters were ready for these protests, and as soon as somebody started yelling, "Genocide Joe!" they start chanting 4 more years. Don't you find it ironic, completely ironic, that Joe Biden is rallying his supporters to murder children, albeit unborn children, and the right to do so, and he's being interrupted by protesters because he's murdering children? Weird. No, not those children, these children. But you got to make that distinction. Wild to me. Genocide Joe. You know, there's been a genocide of the African American community via abortion in this country that nobody wants to talk about. We don't call these people genocidal for being pro-abortion. Maybe we should start pushing that Genocide Joe nickname for the pro-life movement. Maybe. But he's interrupted. And then when he's not being interrupted, he blames Donald Trump for everything.
And let there be no mistake. The person most responsible for taking away this freedom in America is Donald Trump.
That's all they have. That's all they have right now in the Democrat Party. They're not being able to campaign on the economy. They cannot campaign on anything positive. It's orange man bad, abortion good. That's the new Democrat platform heading into the election of 2024. That's it. That's all they have. And make no mistake, it's Donald Trump's fault. I on the flip side, I wear that like a badge of honor. Make no mistake, Roe v. Wade was overturned because of Donald Trump and the Supreme Court justices that he put on the Supreme Court. Make no mistake. But they continue to be interrupted at this rally. Ken Weaver said they were interrupted about 15 times. 15. Unbelievable. And he's interrupted again and again and again.
Is Donald Trump the reason women are being forced to travel out of state? This is going to go on for a while. They got this plan.
Interrupted over and over and over again. All right, Max waving me down. We got him back?
Got him back.
All right, so if you were listening earlier, there was a super texter, 9767, who is pro Nikki Haley. His name is Jason. He's in Nashville. Oop. Jason, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Tell me why you're pro Nikki Haley.
Listen, it's not Nikki Haley so much that I can't stand Trump. And let me tell you why.
But that's not an argument. But this is what I'm saying. This is
you guys are boys. You want to let me talk? That's what you do.
All right, go ahead, talk, please.
Do you think if he gets elected, he'll ever leave office? Yes or no?
I'm sorry?
You think if he gets elected that he's going to leave office after 4 years?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Do you think he wanted to leave this past time? Do you think the election was stolen?
I think the election was rigged against him. I don't think he wanted to leave. But did he leave?
Do you think he should have immunity?
Jason, did he leave?
Do you think he should have immunity?
Well, hey, man, we're going back and forth, right? So I'm not talking over you.
What's your question? What's your question?
Did Trump leave office?
Yeah, because he was forced to.
He followed the rule of law, did he not?
Oh, he tried to go around the rule of law with January 6th, did he not?
I think we could have a debate about feds in the crowd. But this is my big problem. You say you're a Haley supporter. You have
I just don't like Trump.
Exactly,
Haley's much better than Trump because she's a real person.
She's a real person?
Trump is a narcissistic POS, man. Have you ever seen like his business records? He's got 91 indictments. Come on, man.
Okay. Political indictments that have been weaponized by the DOJ. And you know what? If you want to support Nikki Haley, you don't think that they would turn that machine around on her the moment she got into office? You don't think that they would weaponize it against any Republican, period? You don't think they would do it against DeSantis?
You don't think Trump is ethical, moral leader?
I like him a lot, actually. He started no new wars. He had a booming economy.
How many lawsuits he got against him for stuff he did in New York for bad business practice?
Oh, you mean the
he's
ones?
He's not a good dude. No, you guys act like he's the best guy in the world, but he's not good dude.
So for the bad business practices where the banks valued his real estate, he paid the banks back. Everybody made money. Those bad business practices.
Yeah, where he was rigging it. Yeah.
Who was the victim in those cases?
Man, I don't have all the. Man, I don't know all that. I just know that I don't like the guy. He's not a good ethical guy. He's not going to leave office if he gets himself in. He's surrounding himself with yes men.
He already left office.
Because he didn't have a choice. He tried not to. Did you remember January 6th?
But you can't. Yes, with feds in the crowd.
Funny?
Yes, it is funny.
Is that funny? It's funny. Yeah.
Hilarious.
You guys are funny.
Tell me why. But all you're doing is distributing or displaying the symptoms of Trump derangement syndrome.
You drink the Kool-Aid, man. This is why, I can't even talk to people like you.
I'm so happy that you did, though, and that you called in.
Yeah, I am too, because you got some ratings. Because people are going to call up, they're going to hate me. But you know what? Use your brain. He's not a nice guy. He's not going to leave office. He wants immunity. What do you think about immunity? You think he should, the president should have immunity? He can go on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody?
Well, okay. Has he done that?
That's what he said he could do.
Okay, sounds great.
You remember that? Did I make that up?
What about your boy Joe and Hunter?
Yeah, what about him? You guys like to talk about his drug problem every day. So, he's a recovering addict, but, it's real funny for all you guys to sit there and poke fun at a recovering addict.
Do you think it's
cool?
Do you think it's cool to do influence peddling?
No, I don't agree with what Hunter did, man. I'm a normal American. I just don't like Donald Trump. And he's not going to leave office if he gets in there. He didn't want to leave office the first time. He wants immunity for the do you think he should have immunity if he's the president?
But your argument is ridiculous. He did leave office the first time. You have no actual facts to stand on. You admit it yourself.
He started an insurrection January 6th. You remember that, when people were killed?
Who got killed? Ashley Babbitt. One Trump supporter, which was unarmed, was shot by a Capitol Police officer. Who else got killed?
What about the ones that were injured that worked for the Capitol?
What about the Capitol Police officers that walked J6 protesters inside the Capitol building?
Yeah. I don't know, man. If you like Trump, it's good for you, dude. But, he's not a good guy. And I'm just glad that you gave me the choice to tell you why he's not a good guy.
You didn't tell me anything.
Let me ask you one more question.
The only reason you don't like him is hypotheticals. He's not going to leave office. He's a dictator. He already left office. Do you not like? Do you not like?
He should have immunity.
Do you like? Hey, Jason. Do you like wars in the Middle East?
Of course not, man.
Well, that's what you're voting for. If you vote against Trump, do you like war in Ukraine?
Oh yeah, man. I love war. It's great.
Do you like a wide open southern border?
Do you like a guy who wants immunity as a president? They can do whatever. How do you feel about that?
You're totally.
Do you think if he's president, he should have immunity? Like he's constantly bugging the Supreme Court to rule in his favor. What do you think about that?
Immunity from what?
For anything. If he's a president, that's what he's asking for.
This is a nonsensical argument, my man.
As the Supreme Court is about to see if the president of the United States should be held accountable or if he has immunity. What do you think about that?
Held accountable for what, Jason?
Anything he does.
Give me
Are you not
specifics.
following the news?
Give me specifics.
Are you not following the news?
Buddy, you're following CNN much closer than I am.
I watch Fox News all the time because I don't like people like you.
Oh, all right. Hey, appreciate you calling.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. It's kind of what I expected it to be. I told him I was going to be nice. I tried to let him talk. Is that anything else that, I don't know. That's a Haley voter for you. That's the guy that texted in and said Nikki Haley's way better. Mick on the super text line said, I bet this green-haired dude is fun at parties. Okay. 1509 says, guys like this Jason caller is what scares me if Trump gets in office. Scared for his life. These people are nuts and will want to take him out. 1744 said, holy bleep. I'm not even a Trump supporter, but the dude on the phone is a bleeping idiot. Fair enough. All right, everybody wants to line up and pile on Jason, so we'll get to more of your calls next. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, we got rain coming in. It is the perfect time to go down and check your crawl space. Do you have standing water in your crawl space? If you do, you need to call the guys at USS, United Structural Systems. They are the experts in waterproofing your crawl space. I had the chance to sit down and meet these guys. They are proud of the work they do, but they told me the work that they do, you don't know you need it until you know you need it. Well, with the rain coming in, it's the perfect opportunity for you to check out your crawl space, your basement. Are you noticing wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors? If you are, that's your house trying to tell you something, and the guys at USS are fluent in-house. Give them a call to check it out, 615-488-7855. They've been doing this in Middle Tennessee since 1994. They are the foundation waterproofing experts. USS. They have more than 25,000 satisfied residential customers. You will be satisfied as well when you call USS today at 615-488-7855 or online, USSTN.com.
Checking traffic, Williamson County got a crash reported 65 northbound just past Concord Road. And then we still got that pothole repair going on north of Nashville. It has about a 5-mile stretch down to one lane each direction. That's 65 north and southbound, each with one lane. They're starting at the Kentucky border between the Gallatin Cross Plains exit 112 and exit 117. And one of the country's most powerful prosecutors sent letters warning payment apps like Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App customers need better security. We'll tell you about it at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Carl in Murfreesboro, real quick, you have a response to our friend Jason?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the air.
Yeah, you're on the air, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm driving. I'm on the speakerphone. It blipped out. Hey, I appreciate taking my call, and I'm not attacking Jason, but at one time I was kind of like that. You know, I was just ignorant. And when I found out we're not a democracy but a republic, that was my key to knowledge and learning. And so what I'm saying is this to him, that there is hope for him. At least he did reach in and call you guys, and he's going to be pondering over what you said and what he was saying. And one day he's going to regret some of the things he said, because I was just like that.
No,
I was a know-it-all.
And when I was a teenager, I was the same way. I'm with you, Carl. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Matt in Smyrna, who, on the flip side, thinks Jason is right. Matt, what's up? You're on Super Talk.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm 60 years old, so Donald Trump is not new to me. If you follow Donald Trump's body of work, from not only his 1970 business practices, but his relationships, his marriages, all of this stuff has been in court, in the tabloids, in the papers. Donald Trump is not new, and we all know we can go down that road individually, and the court cases and the verdicts.
Why do you think though that he was a media darling right up until the point he decided to run for president in 2016?
Because the big thing was Sarah Palin started all this nonsense with the identity politics. But
Sarah Palin? You said Sarah Palin started the identity politics?
Sarah Palin.
No, sir.
No,
No, sir. That was that was
sir.
Obama.
No.
Yes.
If
I had a son, he'd look just like Trayvon. That was Obama that started the identity politics.
Well, we can, the Trayvon. But let's go back to your point in Trump. Trump, like you said, Orange Man bad, Nikki Haley. Trump only won. The only reason why Trump won is because Hillary Clinton ran. Any other person that would ran other than Hillary Clinton, they could not vote for Hillary Clinton. They went the other way. And I agree, even though I did not vote for him in 2016.
Matt, you're a Democrat, right?
No, I'm an independent, and I will vote for the best person. I voted for Reagan in his first time around. I did, and he was my commander-in-chief. I sure in the hell didn't vote for the second time.
You're a veteran?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your service. Hang on the line. We got to get to news. I want to talk to you more. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, checking traffic. Still have pothole repair slowing things down. That is going to be north and southbound 65 for about a 5-mile stretch in Robertson County. And then in Williamson County, got a crash in Brentwood, 65 northbound just past Concord Road. One of the country's most powerful prosecutors, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, says he sent letters warning payment apps like Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App that customers remain at serious risk without increased security measures if their phones are stolen or hacked. Bragg telling ABC's Good Morning America they should introduce limits on transactions, secondary verification, and better monitoring of unusual activity to help protect consumer information.
If there aren't guardrails, if there aren't common sense fixes, we're going to see more of these cases. And we're going to see more financial harm, possibly more physical harm.
Both Venmo and Cash App said they're committed to customer security without committing to the reforms the DA is seeking. Netflix announcing a major boost in signups in the fourth quarter despite cracking down on password sharing, which some observers said might hurt them. Netflix added more than 13 million subscribers for the quarter and now has a record number of subscribers at 260.3 million. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I like these calls. I really do. Some people don't. 8957. We had Matt from Smyrna call in, who's kind of defending the last caller, Jason.
Yeah.
In a little bit more of a intelligent way. Jason was very emotionally motivated, and that's okay. But I said, I want to talk to Matt some more. I asked Matt to hold. 8957 texted in, and he said, talk to him some more? ? Wow. This is like Hannity and Combs, ... I don't know. I've never seen Hannity and Combs. Is Combs a Democrat? My point is, I think more dialogue is always better. Because the less dialogue we have, the more we dehumanize the other side, and the more we divide the country. Like, I think dialogue's a good thing. Plus, I happen to think that I can convince people to lean to my side of thinking. So Matt in Smyrna was gracious enough to hold, and he thinks that our last caller, Jason, was right. What's up, Matt? You're back.
Well, I think we should also start with the notion that the Democrat Party and the Republican Party has really not done anything for the average American person. So you can fight that argument on both sides.
Do you have you listened to the show before, Matt?
Every day.
So you've heard me bash Republicans quite often.
I think you're hypocritical at times, but I think everybody has their moments.
Fair enough. So let's go back to Trump and Haley.
Okay.
Do you think that Nikki Haley is a better candidate than Trump?
I think she's an alternative.
I think
she'll be the alternative to Trump.
But you just said yourself that the Republicans and the Democrats don't do anything for the average person.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you agree that Nikki Haley is more of an establishment Republican than Trump?
I do not know Nikki Haley like that. I do not know her. All I know is that is she unqualified for the president of the United States? Yes. Was Donald Trump unqualified? Yes. Okay, so
but Trump now has a record to run on.
Right.
So if we focus on 2017 to 2020,
right,
where we had record low unemployment, a booming economy, energy independence, we were almost going to be an exporter of energy. No new wars. We had the Abraham Accords. We can go on and on and on about his victories. The media won't go on and on about the victories, but
I can go the other way about that. I can go not enough victories. The chaos every day, the mass shootings. You had a shooting in every city when Trump was in office.
But the chaos all right. So the chaos was mainly directed from the left because they were unhinged at this man being in office. The shootings, you know, they only talk about the shootings when it's politically relevant. They never talk about the root cause of the shootings, which is the antidepressants, the SSRIs, the big pharma induced, mass shooters.
Right.
So
we also have to look at it's also rhetoric. Let me ask you something. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting for you, man.
Okay. Let me ask you one thing. Donald Trump lost the election. And the reason why, we can always say, yes, it was stolen. The states had different rules. You can make that argument. But here's the biggest thing in the world. It went to 60, 70 courtrooms in every state, and they lost. So at that moment, it would have been beneficial for Trump to say, hey, look, I have to live with the results. And I guarantee you, after Biden, Trump would have won every state.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. It's okay. But all right, even not taking your points right and not arguing whether or not this was rigged. I could tell you that the FBI had Hunter's laptop and there was influence peddling evidence on the laptop. The FBI had it since 2019. The 51 intelligence officials saying that it was Russian disinformation. They knew they were lying. I could tell you all those things. Without even saying that, you have a problem with Trump saying that he didn't win, he didn't lose the election. That bothers you. But this is Joe Biden last night.
The real governor, Terry McAuliffe.
Denying elections.
Okay, but
it's always rules for thee and not for me.
No. I can always say I don't agree with something, but when I put plans in motion, what is this fake electors? What is that? And not only that, you had multiple people in multiple cities to do multiple things for one person and one person only. Do you understand these people are being burned legally, but Trump has not been burned? I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
The Department of Justice has gone after Trump every which way they can. You can say he's not being burned. The fact of the matter is that nobody is believing that it's real.
Also, let me ask you this, and you have to admit this. If I'm a president of the United States, I don't ask for loyalty. I ask people to do their job. And their job.
You have a problem. You have a problem with somebody asking for loyalty?
Definitely. In a public service job, yes. You know why? Because my ideals and issues are different from yours. I can't have yes men because I'm not fully taking care of the people who put me in office. Remember, Donald Trump had a responsibility.
But all of your real arguments against the man are based on feelings. It's all feelings.
No. And let me add in the biggest thing. If Donald Trump cannot take care of his family, take care of his home, who he says, under God, I will not do these things to my wife, and you do so, what makes you think he can do right by me?
Okay, but no, if you want to bring families into it, I mean, listen, look at Biden's family. They have a grandkid that they don't even hang up a stocking for. They hung up stockings every year for all their grandkids, except for this year because they finally had to acknowledge the new grandkid. What about his son, who's sleeping with his dead son's wife? Like, you want to talk about families and start going down that road? I would happily lean in on the Trump family as opposed to the Biden family.
This is who we elect. Is Biden this person that I would want to get in office? No, I am not a Biden fan.
So, but would you vote for Nikki Haley? Huh? An establishment neocon war hawk that's going to bring back policies from George Bush era, the John Bolton kind of policies, the Dick Cheney kind of policies?
No, because remember, when was the president of the United States was a figurehead, right? It is who is in charge of your policy. Donald Trump had his hand and wanted to have his hand in everything, and separations of powers. I mean, it is who you have in your cabinet, in your office to run the country. That is what it is supposed to be. We don't want a king.
All right. And Trump's not going to be a king. When he wins, he'll be doing 4 years, and then he'll be getting out. I mean, Trump is going to be the nominee. So if it's Trump versus Biden, are you not going to vote?
I'm going to have to really weigh the options. Now, am I?
That's not to me, Matt. That sounds like somebody that's going to vote for Biden. What they would say.
No, not necessarily. Because remember, I don't agree with all this. I don't agree with 99%. I don't agree with 90% of what Biden is doing. Now remember, he got this immigration thing that's happening at the border. I lived on the border for 4 years. I told you this once before. And we never had any type of thing like this. I was there 2000, 2004. But they had, Mexico protected their southern border and their northern border with guards with machine guns on every corner. But here's the problem. When Trump made that comment, they escorted all these people to our border. Now, somebody has to take responsibility.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to blame the border on Trump. You lost me because Trump ended catch and release. He instated remain in Mexico. He was building a wall. I don't know. You kind of lost me, Matt. I appreciate the call. There's a bunch of people that want to get in on this as well. Thanks so much. You're always welcome to call in. I like Matt. He was calm. He was cool. I don't agree with him at all. But I'm not going to agree with everybody, and I think that's the better part of the show is not an echo chamber. A lot of people think that Matt was swimming in blue Kool-Aid. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But when you start saying, well, what about Trump's family? It's like, bro. Joe's son slept with the widow of his brother. Like, I don't know. That's a bridge too far for me. Let's go to RC in the borough. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, RC?
What's going on, fellas? Man, I'm glad that you opened up to other voices. That proves that you're an American. That's what it's about. That's the whole point.
Yes, sir.
But you know, and I don't mean to get like too or anything, but you know, Christ warned in the you know that the worst thing on earth is going to be deception. It wouldn't be like, of course, there's going to be dragons, Antichrist, Mark of the Beast, whatever. You can do all that, but
oh, you there, RC?
it's like deception is worse than COVID-19. It spreads worse than COVID-19. So it's like Jason just gives you a snapshot of the gross deception. Not saying that we're not all deceived in our own way.
Yep.
Not saying that I'm better than Jason in any way. I have my deceptions as well. But he kind of gives you a pulse for the other side, that how they think, or, you know, it's just kind of off the table for them. Regardless of how effective the guy is, regardless if we're working just on numbers. Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Just results-based only. Objective results. They don't even want to entertain it. And so you can see throughout history, all great leaders were never liked by everybody. You know what I'm saying? MJ, nobody liked MJ, but the guy was effective, bro. He's going to get you there, and you're going to get buckets. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to go with the guy who's going to get the most buckets. Let him be morally. That's him and God, man.
I'm with you. But RC, I always say, man, God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called.
Absolutely.
You know, and you look at what he's done with the Supreme Court justices, Roe v. Wade. Yeah, I believe he was the first president to attend the March for Life rally. Like, I just, you know, he acknowledges Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know what these people want.
Yeah, I know, man, and that's the thing. We want, it's just virtue signaling. You know, it's just, you know, that kind of thing. But I appreciate you opening this up, man. And we got to leave room for that deception, like the earlier caller said. Like, we all have our journeys, and just because we found out, you know, at our time, you know, their time could come. And every time you're able to engage and drop a nugget of truth in them, that will plant the seed to hopefully one day, you know, get rid of this gross deception, the soup that we're living in.
I'm with you, man. It's like I want to have these conversations. I don't want the echo chamber. I'd rather hear why you hate them, so that way we can talk about it, as opposed to just shouting people down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but just give some substance when you say you hate them. Don't just talk about how you feel, man. Like, talk about what it is, and 'cause look around, bro. Like, this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable. What's going on right now, man? But I appreciate your time, dude, taking my call, man.
Yeah, anytime, RC. You're always welcome to call. Appreciate you. Trump makes buckets. RC in the borough.
What an analogy.
Yeah. Trump makes buckets. What else do you need? We got a lot of calls. We got a lot of texts to get to. Hang out with us. We got more on the way. It's the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Crashes on I-40 causing some problems. First, downtown, 40 westbound, right there at exit 209A. That's going to be Church Street. Then 40 westbound, right before Donaldson Pike. Right 2 lanes blocked by a stalled vehicle. That's not a crash. Pothole repairs slowing folks down in Robertson County. You've got 1 lane each, 65 north and southbound, about a 5-mile stretch there. It's a 25-minute delay. It is in between mile markers 112 and 117. A warning for payment apps like Venmo and Cash App. Parts of a certain SUV are flying off in traffic, and a Texas man's in custody after faking being a cop for more than 3 years. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. My guy Jeremiah in Cookeville, he agrees with our friend Jason from a couple callers back. He's been waiting patiently on the line. Jeremiah, you're next. What's up, man? You're on Super Talk 99.7.
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'd like to give a shout out to Matt Murphy. I think he's one of the best out there. And I want to say I miss Uncle Phil.
Hey, me and you both.
He's the one that got me into independent. First of all, I'd say my situation is I'm disabled. I only get $940 a month. So I got to vote for who would help me. If I made a little bit more money, of course I would vote for it. I can't vote for Trump. The reason why is you say he didn't try to overthrow the government. But if Pence would have went along with the plan, they would have overthrown the government. And I don't see how anybody could vote for Trump after that.
No. If Pence had went along with the plan, they would have sent the electors back and given more time to investigate the allegations of fraud.
And it would have been, I can't say it, a crap show.
Yeah.
Trump is a true runner. He's not conservative. He has not fulfilled really half of his promises. The wall ain't built. Mexico didn't pay for it. He increased our debt. He don't really care about abortion. Whichever way the wind blows, he'll go with that. Red Eye Radio, like I said, I called them last night. They at least point out Trump's mistakes.
Hey, I don't like that he went Operation Warp Speed and he gave too much control to Fauci. I don't like that he didn't pardon Julian Assange. There's things I don't like about Trump. But I'll tell you this. If you're living on a fixed income because you're disabled, who do you think is going to get the economy back into shape faster than Donald Trump?
Yes, I agree with that. But
so I'm saying the other candidates are going to continue getting us into wars. Nikki Haley would continue these Middle East escapades. Nikki Haley would continue to fund other countries' borders before ours. Joe Biden's doing that right now.
You know, I think a lot of that is Republican propaganda. Y'all have all jumped on Nikki Haley. Everybody on the radio.
Well, I mean, but she works for Boeing. She was broke before she took that gig, and she's changed her response based on donors, and she flip-flops, man. You can hear, I didn't say to everybody should give their name out online for social media accounts. It's like you literally said that in an interview. We have it on video.
Well, yes, sir, but anybody would be better than Biden. Trust me, I'm not Biden's supporter.
Well, we can agree on that. Anybody would be better than Biden. I think a bag of rocks may be better than Joe Biden.
Yeah, like I said last night, Chris Christie on Red Eye Radio would be better than Biden.
Well, I don't know if I want to go that far. I appreciate your call, though, Jeremiah. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got rain, and we'll tell you for how long during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in Nashville, the Tennessee Titans say they've agreed to terms with their new head coach. Brian Callahan comes to Nashville from being the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. He'll be formally introduced at a news conference tomorrow afternoon. Titans owner Amy Adams-Strunk says Callahan stood out during a thorough candidate process as the person who's best suited to lead the team. Popular peer-to-peer payment apps are being warned by one of the country's most powerful prosecutors. They need to do more to protect customers' personal information, or or there's going to be an increase in violent phone jackings and pickpocketing. Aaron Katersky has more on what the DA is saying.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg sent letters to the companies warning of a troubling rise in illegal behavior because they have insufficient security measures. The district attorney called on the companies to adopt new security measures, including limits on transactions, secondary verification, and better monitoring of unusual activity. Both Venmo and Cash App said they're committed to customer safety without committing to the reforms the DA is seeking.
Alvin Bragg says peer-to-peer payment services now handle an estimated $1 trillion in payments. You might want to back off a bit the next time you're driving around one of those Ford SUVs, a certain Ford SUV, that is, after reports of parts flying off in traffic. Here's Brian Clark.
A piece of trim on Ford Explorers could fly off in traffic, and that could create hazards for other drivers. Ford is now recalling almost 1.9 million of the SUVs from the 2011 through 2019 model years. Federal regulators began to investigate the problem a year ago and determined it was a safety hazard.
Right now in Texas, Jim Ryan says Austin police are holding a man who's thought to have been posing as a cop for the past 3.5 years. Investigators are trying to figure out why.
An affidavit states that 35-year-old Sean McDonald told women on dating apps that he was a cop. Selfies taken in his uniform backed him up. The problem is that
he's never been an employee of the Austin Police Department in any function.
Detective Brandon Solis says McDonald had cobbled the uniform together himself.
The internet's a pretty big place. You can find anything.
Dressing as a cop is one thing, but saying you're an officer, even on a dating app, constitutes false identification as a peace officer.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris, and if you've been here for the entire show, you'll know that I opened the show being like, this is a weird day. It's only gotten weirder.
It's lived up to it.
It has. We've had a lot of members of the left calling in. I feel like we have a lot of new listeners because of that. So I just want to go on record and say birds and snow aren't real, and just let them ponder on that. If you listen to the show all the time, you'll understand where we're getting at. A little inside joke for the people that show up at 9. What's up, Todd?
Hey, Todd.
We do podcast all the shows. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the things. You can listen anywhere with the TuneIn app, the iHeartRadio app, all that kind of stuff. So please go subscribe. It'll get sent right to your phone, and you can enjoy us all the time. Rick in Bowling Green has been waiting a minute. I want to say thanks for holding, Rick. And you wanted to kind of weigh in. You wanted to weigh in on Nikki versus Trump. So this is your opportunity, my man.
I'll be very concise. I really kind of found Jason a little bit irrational.
I did
the
too.
Immunity that he was talking about, it's politically motivated immunity or politically motivated litigation. In other words, you can't have a president where whichever party is in power is getting sued all the time by the opposing party to try to derail their agenda.
Well, and they tried to derail Trump's agenda from day one with the Russia collusion hoax and then the impeachments.
And the Women's March. I mean, he hadn't been president any time at all, and suddenly there's a Women's March. Came out of nowhere.
It's amazing what he was able to do with all the resistance he had in his first term.
Here's a couple more points I wanted to make. Obama used excessive executive orders, and I actually posted about that saying, beware left, because if somebody else gets in power that has views different than you, they're going to take the precedents that Obama used, and they're going to do that. So I feel like the use of executive orders increased after Obama's presidency. I think Trump used them a little bit more than would be typical, and for issues that were a little bit more something that should go before the legislation rather than the executive branch just exercising authority. Another thing, you hit the nail absolutely on the head. Orange man bad, abortion good.
Yeah.
That is the issue. Nikki Haley is all – I guarantee you that anybody on the right that's not just totally establishment, they support Nikki Haley because she's probably the most soft on the abortion stance of anyone else.
Yep.
And finally, what I would say is that these people that are one-issue voters, like if abortion's your issue, so you're just going to totally overlook open borders.
Yep.
You're going to overlook how the LGBT agenda is destroying childhood. It's destroying families.
Yep, the rainbow mafia is what we call them.
This is the abnormal being mainstreamed as normal. It's not normal.
Yep.
It'll never be normal.
I'm with you.
And then finally, we have the educational industrial complex. You always hear about the military industrial complex, but the educational industrial complex is just as big, and it's the left.
Yep.
Left dominates education, and homeschooling is on the rise because normal people don't want to put up with this garbage anymore that's going on in the public schools. And I went to a high school musical to support a person that goes to our church that was in the public schools. And in the program, it was Beauty and the Beast, and the Beast is using they, them pronouns in the high school program. And I'm like, what is this garbage? I thought school was about use of, appropriate English and grammar, and we're letting a public high school use they, them pronouns in a program.
Yeah.
It just infuriated me.
I think one of the things, but one of the things that's important is and a texter sent in 2433 said, let's not forget the resistance. That started day one of the Trump administration. But I think that one of the best things about Trump is that all of this was exposed because of him. I don't know if we'd be having these conversations today if he didn't and wasn't able to shine a light on the lies of the media, the lies of the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex. All of this came about because of Trump. We're able to have these conversations because that man got elected.
I agree. One final thing, and then I'll let you go. I know you got plenty of callers, but I'm a political pragmatist. I would have voted in the primary if he was still in it. I would have not voted for Trump. I would have voted for DeSantis. But Trump's the man now. I mean, when I have to weigh him against anybody that shows up on the left, I'm going to go with Trump every time.
I'm with you, Rick. I appreciate the call, man. Thanks so much for holding as long as you did. Rick was on hold for a minute. We've had a bunch of callers today.
Yeah.
Rick stood pat. He was patient.
He's ready to go.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jess in Columbia has a response to our caller Jeremiah that we had just before the top of the hour. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Chris. I'm not actually from Columbia. I'm just there right now.
All right, word.
I take great exception, though, to what he said, because I, too, am a disabled veteran. But it was only under Trump that I was able to get my benefits, because one of the things Trump said when he became president, but when he was running for president, he said, he said, it's a shame the way they treat our veterans. And he was going to revamp the VA, and he truly did, because now I get 100% health coverage for everything but my teeth through the VA, and I'm a 60% disabled veteran.
Well, first, let me say thank you for your service. And second, under Biden, illegal aliens are able to cut veterans in line at the VA.
Yes, true. Now, I want you to notice something. In my lifetime, now I'm a little bit older than you, but in my lifetime, the only two great presidents we've had, and I'm sure anybody can tell me who they are, were outsiders from Washington.
Yep.
Both of them.
Yep.
And both of them were pro-military. Every Democrat that's been in office since I was born has been anti-military. I was active duty when Obama was put into office.
Yeah.
And one of the first things he did was he kicked a third of the chaplains out and made it illegal to pray in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
And then brought in all the queers. And I know I'm not allowed to say that, but I got a sister who's one, but brought in all the queers and kicked the Christians out. And we wonder what's wrong with our military.
Yeah, and you wonder why recruitment's down when they have transgender influencers and cross-dresser influencers and woke ads.
They downsized the Navy 35% during his tenure.
Yeah.
And wonder why we can't defend. We're supposed to have a 313-ship Navy when I was active duty, and he dropped us down to 289. We were required to have 11 carriers, and he said 9's enough. Well, even though the law says we have to have 11.
And it's amazing how they're anti-military members, but very, very pro-war.
Right. Now, I'm going to say something else. I just forgot what I was saying. I was not permitted to vote. I got sent to prison for something I didn't do, and I was actually in prison when Trump was elected. Now, I've known about Donald Trump for many years. I was not a fan of Donald Trump as a person, but anyone that can see anything going on in this nation has to admit that Donald Trump is the only decent president we've had since Ronald Reagan.
Yep, I'm with you.
If we follow the whims and the wishes of all of these liberals, just like many people have been saying here lately, that this country is going to cease to exist. We've kicked God out of everything. Mm-hmm. We've brought in all the queer agenda. We've brought in all this woke agenda, and we wonder what's wrong with our nation.
Well, even in mainstream sports, who was the quarterback? He was praying in his post-game speech, and NBC edited it out. It just happened.
I have no idea, because I've never watched a game of anything in my life and never will. I think pro sport is one of the biggest scourges of America.
Yeah, bread and circus. I'm with you, Jess. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Ray in Cookville, let's get to him real quick. He wants to set Jason straight. Jason was a caller that we had a little while ago who was very anti-Trump. He pretended to be pro-Nikki Haley, but he was very anti-Trump, and Ray in Cookville wants to set him straight. What's up, Ray?
Hey, Chris. Jason and Jeremiah, and it was C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, thank you. See, this is why I love you guys on the phone lines and on the text line, because if I forget something, you guys are right there. C.J. Stroud, they edited it out of his speech. NBC did.
All right. Now, real quick, I used to be on the dark side. It was Ronald Reagan that brought me to see the light. Now, the age-old question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Yeah. I want Jeremiah and I want Jason to go grocery shopping.
Yep.
Then I want them to go sit at their kitchen table, and I want them to look at their bills, look at their electric bill, look up their gas receipts from where they filled up their cars. I haven't had a claim on my auto insurance, and I can't tell you when. My auto insurance just went up $25 a month.
Jeez.
Okay? All this is under Biden. So, and to go, and wasn't it you that had the squishy pastor, I believe, that called you or texted you the other day?
Yep, I had a squishy
In the
pastor
middle of the
text
road.
me. Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't look for Donald Trump to be my preacher.
Yep.
Okay. But he did move our embassy to Jerusalem when even Ronald Reagan, the great Ronald Reagan, said he was going to do it, and nobody else did it but him.
Well, everybody was saying that they were going to do it, and nobody ever did.
Exactly. And he did end Roe.
Oh, did we lose Ray?
In case the mother's life, it's not the baby's fault. But, the state by state, being able to choose is the right way to do it.
I agree with that.
But
I
nothing is good enough for the Democrats. They will scream and...
Yep. Yeah, Ray. Ray, you're kind of dropping out, man, and I really appreciate your call. You're welcome to call anytime. We really appreciate you, Ray. Thanks for reaching out. But the problem isn't just Democrats. The problem is establishment Republicans as well. And we saw that on full display. There was audio that was leaked from Carrie Lake. I don't know if Carrie Lake did the leaking or if it was her team. But she was basically attempted to be bribed by an establishment Arizona GOP Republican. And this audio came out. She had spoke about this at CPAC some time ago. And, there was hit pieces on her like The Independent. She's spinning webs of lies. And I think that this is one of the things that we have to realize. Trump is not just up against the establishment left. He's also up against the establishment right. And that's why you have candidates like Nikki Haley that are jumping out, taking that big donor money to go at Trump, because the establishment GOP is just as bad in D.C. And you have this breaking news where video or audio was leaked last night of an Arizona GOP chair trying to bribe Carrie Lake. The guy's name is Jeff DeWitt. And this is all on audio. I have all this audio. You got to listen to some of this. Carrie Lake is attempted to be bribed by the Arizona GOP to not run. Just, put her campaign on pause for 2 years.
Don't tell people. They're going to try to have me murdered.
I won't doubt that either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. They say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now. Like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. I just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, you can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. If you say, I got offered to buy, don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I said it's about ownership.
It's about control.
It's about control. Carrie Lake exposes a lot in this audio. What do these people want from her? Well, they want her to suspend her campaign.
They want you to be on their team.
But But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. But let me tell you what I can offer you.
What can they offer her? We'll tell you next. Hang out with us. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. I'm sure when you left the house this morning, you were like, hey, it might rain later. I'm going to grab my raincoat. Might grab an umbrella. You're going to plan ahead for the weather. But are you planning ahead for your financial future? You should be. Full disclosure, I was not. And I should have been. I should have been planning ahead a long time ago. I got 4 wonderful kids. Me and my wife should have made it a much bigger priority, but it is a priority. We're thinking about paying for weddings, maybe college down the road if any of those kids want it. And we didn't have a financial plan to get that done. We didn't have goals for retirement. But we do now, thanks to Paul and his team. Now, Paul and his team hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required. Because of that, I got to tell you, I'm paid every time this commercial airs. That's the truth. But that's not why I'm a client of Paul's. I decided to become a client because when I got to sit down with Paul, when I got to have my questions answered, honestly, and in a way that I could understand, I was impressed. Paul's a smart guy. He knows the financial world better than I do. And with Paul and his team, nothing is done on commission. I'll repeat that. Nothing is done on commission. So when they make a plan for your financial future, you can be sure it's for your financial future, not theirs. Nothing is done on commission. If you don't have a financial plan, Paul and his team can make your financial goals way more realistic by explaining what to do and why. And the investment education they're going to provide to you is evidence-based and backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. Check these guys out. Get your financial future in order. Every office is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years of experience, and that experience is the difference. So do what I did. Talk to one of his team members today. You can set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950.
Pothole repair causing a 15-minute delay for drivers on 65 northbound and southbound in Robertson County. There are now 2 major car recalls over parts flying off in traffic, and a powerful district attorney's encouraging payment apps to increase customer information security. That's coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We were talking about Carrie Lake. She was offered a bribe to stay out of the Senate race. Just put everything on pause for 2 years by the Arizona GOP chair, Jeff DeWitt.
They want you to be on their team.
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want you to stay out for 2 years. What? Let me tell you what I can offer you.
What can they offer you? Well, Carrie Lake says that she knows what this is about. This is about defeating Trump. This isn't about getting her out of the race. This is about making sure that Trump doesn't win, and she's a very pro-Trump candidate.
This is about defeating Trump, and I think that's a bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first.
Shots fired.
This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. At the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win.
It's always about money, isn't it? That's what Arizona GOP Chair Jeff DeWitt says. He also says, I'm not sure if Trump can win. I know a lot of people feel that way. Myself, I feel optimistic. I feel hopeful. I feel like there's energy behind the campaign. But we saw what happened last time. We saw the questions that were asked that were never answered. We saw the way the media was against him. I mean, I don't think it's a 100% done deal that Trump wins in November. But I do think Trump is our best option in November. Personally. And I know there's people out there that disagree with me, but he's the guy now. And they wanted Carrie Lake out of this Senate race so that way they could get Trump out. They wanted somebody that was more pro-DeSantis, it sounds like. Carrie Lake said DeSantis isn't America first. I found that very interesting. And I like Ron. He's okay. I don't think he was the guy. I never thought he was going to be the guy over Trump, and I thought it was a calculated error for him to run. But Carrie Lake, they tell her, after she says this is about defeating Trump, they said, well, don't go away. Don't go away. You're just pausing. You're pausing and you're refilling your coffers.
I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting him do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona.
Or
to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause. And you fill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now.
He says pause and refill your coffers. She says no, the battle is right now.
The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not for you.
Yeah.
You don't even offer them. And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time, but I don't scratch backs. Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying.
Listen to what he's saying. Says DC's a big back scratching club. You can't scratch their back. And then he says, I don't scratch backs, as he's offering Carrie Lake a bribe to get out of the race. That seems like you're scratching somebody's back. But he also says in there, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again? It's fascinating to me that this is so, out in the open. Both of these have elected, well, Carrie Lake wasn't elected, but this Arizona GOP chair, Jeff DeWitt. Well, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying.
Listen to what you're saying. There's more on the way after the news with Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes, and now 2 major car recalls covering about 2 million vehicles. Here's Brian Clark.
Nearly 1.9 million Ford Explorers from the 2011 through 2019 model years could have trim fly off on the road. Kia has issued a similar recall for over 101,000 cars. Their 2023 and 24 Sportages and Carnivals from 2022 through 24. They have roof molding that can detach while driving. Owners of all the affected Kias and Fords will be notified beginning in March and told how they can have their cars inspected and repaired.
Well, the Manhattan District Attorney warning payment apps like Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App that users are vulnerable to fraud unless they incorporate more security measures like limiting transaction amounts, secondary verification, better monitoring of unusual activity. Alvin Bragg says he sent them a letter saying it's going to lead to an increase in violent phone jackings and pickpocketing. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It seems like just last week we were in the negatives, and now we're in the 60s. If your AC and heating unit feels bipolar, we understand. But it's also a good reminder that this thing is going to be need to be working the right way. And if you haven't gotten your system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, it is time to do it now. You don't want to wait for this problem to pop up with your heat this time of year, or you don't want your AC to be on the fritz as things start getting warmer. Be proactive. Keep your unit in tip-top shape. Tippy-toppy, as we like to say. Whether you need that annual maintenance, repair, or replacement plumbing, heating, or air system, you got to call who I trust, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. These are the guys that will do the right thing by you every single time. And if you do need to replace your system, you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. They offer up to 12 months, no payment, no interest with approved credit. And it pays in so many ways to sign up for that annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems from Busy Bee. You get added rewards and savings by signing up to be a Beehive member, which will get you front of the line service, that thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems, no overtime charges 24/7, and 10% off all your repairs. Remember, they offer convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls because you're listening to 99.7 WTN. You're a conservative. You're probably working. It's a weekday. So they'll come see you on Saturday. So you'll never be left out in the cold. Busy Bee, they're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 775-7833. That's 615-775-7833 or online at busybeehvac.com.
They want you to be on their team.
But But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. What? I'll tell you what I can offer you.
What can they offer Carrie Lake? That is leaked audio of Arizona GOP Chair Jeff DeWitt offering Carrie Lake, who's running for the senator seat in Arizona, a bribe. Stay out for 2 years. Stay out for 2 years. Is that not amazing? Establishment Republicans are just as dangerous as the left, my friends. We see an establishment Republican hanging in a race right now to become president when she's clearly losing and celebrating these losses as wins. The establishment right is just as bad as the establishment left. This audio proves it. Carrie Lake, out of Arizona, offered a bribe. This guy, Jeff DeWitt, says, we're not asking you to go away. We're asking you to pause for 2 years. Pause for 2 years, you say? Yeah, pause and refill your coffers. Pause and refill your coffers. Unbelievable. Now, when this originally happened, Carrie Lake talked about it at CPAC. And hit pieces were written about her. People said she was lying. Isn't that amazing? They called her out. In fact, The Independent, a liberal online publication, ran a headline back in March of 23. Carrie Lake spins tales of attempted bribery to drop out of politics. Interesting. She was speaking at CPAC. She said at CPAC back in March of 23, they came to my door. They tried to bribe me out getting out of politics, she told the crowd. I'm telling you this because this is how disgusting politics is. A mom who runs for office is who they're afraid of. A mom who runs for office. Full disclosure, I know Carrie Lake's daughter. She's a sweetheart. Worked with her at Turning Point. Great girl. And oftentimes I look at people's kids and I make a judgment on the adult. I haven't met Carrie Lake, but if you can raise a great kid, like, you're probably a great person. And everything I see from Carrie Lake, I love. I love the way she handles left-wing media. And now hearing this audio, I love the way she handles establishment GOP cronies offering her bribes. It's unbelievable. So this guy says, we want you to pause. We want you to pause for 2 years. That's it. Pause for 2 years. Well, what does Carrie Lake say to that?
Why don't we do something about it?
What?
So that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. Then I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's... Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
Based.
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
I know. Look. And
you don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will, but...
Nah, I think that's the way they are.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm just going to... That would entail not telling... Layman's telling me, you got to distance yourself from Trump. No, you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for the betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run.
I'm telling you not to run.
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
Oh, you should be honored, says Arizona GOP Jeff DeWitt. Who wouldn't be honored by a bribe to get out of politics? Who wouldn't be honored? This is establishment GOP. Up in D.C., they don't want these America First candidates. You should be honored, he tells Carrie Lake, that they would even offer you a bribe. It's a badge of honor.
But I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't get out our country.
Do you understand that? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Oh.
Well, I can tell them that.
If you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country.
Very few people get these kind of offers, Carrie. Nobody gets offered big money to sit out of politics for 2 years. This is the establishment right that we're battling against in D.C. This is what Trump had to deal with during his first term. When they call Trump an outsider, just know he is actually an outsider. There are candidates that are out there that support him that are being offered bribes to step aside so things can be a little bit smoother for the establishment in Washington, D.C. Carrie Lake says, no. I'm offended. She says, they say you should be honored. This guy keeps pushing. The Arizona GOP chair, Jeff DeWitt, keeps pushing. He asked Carrie, all right, well, what's your number?
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
Not be bought.
Not be bought. It's just a number for you to take a pause for 2 years, right? Is there a number, Carrie Lake?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
Take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
Then you can go right back to what you're doing.
10 million, 20 million, 30, no. $1 billion, no.
Absolutely based, Carrie Lake.
This is not about money. This is about our country.
I believe her when she says that, guys. I really, really do. I believe her when she says this is not about money. This is about our country. I wish we had 1,000 more Carrie Lakes running for office. And how many people take the bribe? How many take the bribe? Carrie asked this guy, do you think that I can be bought?
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought. No. They are trying to buy me out of running. It's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff than you currently do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but this is an incredible opportunity. You have to understand. This is an opportunity, Carrie. You'll have a voice to fight for stuff. But the fact remains, they're scared of the voice that she has now, which is why they want her to pause for 2 years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
She's absolutely right.
Again,
that's immoral. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I,
It's very powerful people that are willing to. They really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman? That's a new name?
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility, but they're even asking me, like,
I know. They've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back. Take it back to them.
She says, "Oh, they got all these new names. I'm going to beat every one of them. Take it back. Take it back." Carrie Lake cannot be bought. I, for one, hope she wins her Senate seat, because then we need to start memeing Carrie Lake 2028. That needs to become a reality. Carrie Lake can't be bought. One of the things that I found the most interesting was right towards the end of the call. The Arizona GOP chair, Jeff DeWitt, begs Carrie Lake not to tell anybody about this because he's afraid it could get him killed.
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
you need a strong party to help.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
These people don't want to. They don't want.
And I turn my key in my car and I go. I like that.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that they.
Don't tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counteroffer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Give me a counteroffer. I can't be bought. He says, don't tell anybody about this. I'll put the key in my car and it'll go boom. Will in Nashville, you have a comment on Carrie Lake. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Will?
Yeah, man. Thank you. I just got to say that is, I think this is endemic in the political system. She, I love that this guy, DeWittless, was trying to steamroll her, and she just recognized it and said, no, I'm not having any of this. This is all a bunch of crap. And basically outed him.
Yeah, I'm with it, too.
And I think she realized if she did take the money, and they're saying, well, there's no strings attached kind of thing, later on they could say, well, if you don't do this and that, then we're going to out you saying you took money to do this.
Yeah,
and this is how they get these people in there. And you got a lot of politicians out there, I think on both sides, who are getting the same thing. And this is from the rhino class, the moneyed rhino class, the Liz Cheney type of people who are getting money funneled from the Democrats to them, from their elitist, and trying to get our politicians to do their bidding.
I am so with you, Will, and I appreciate the call. Yeah, never forget, it's a bribe today, but it's blackmail tomorrow. It's 11:49 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. 11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Matt Murphy. What up, Matt?
Hello.
We were just talking
everyone.
off air about Carrie Lake not taking bribes.
Not taking bribes. Part of me, I like Carrie Lake a lot.
I do too.
Let's get on the record there. And
I
I think
Carrie Lake 2028?
Too early to tell. Too early to see that down the road. I don't know. Maybe Carrie Lake, maybe Trump Lake 2024. I don't know.
See, I would like her to win the Senate seat first. There's the rumors that Tim Scott's going to be the VP.
I'm all down about that. I feel like Donald Trump last night in real time. I mean, he's got Vivek and Tim Scott on stage with him. If you don't think that he's engaged in the interview process, I don't think you've been paying attention. This is shrewd.
My wife said to me, look at who's standing directly behind him in the victory speech.
Yep.
It's Tim Scott.
And I think Vivek's got I think he's open to either. I think Tim Scott is probably the leader in the clubhouse right now if I had to bet.
Yeah.
And we shall see. But, yeah, I like Carrie Lake a lot. I think what she did, regardless of whether she knew beforehand or didn't know beforehand, I think she probably knew walking into that. Obviously, she's recording the conversation. It exposes I want to focus on, and I will in the 12 o'clock hour, exposing the other side of all of this. And I know you've been doing that as well. At the same time, all of this lavish praise on Carrie Lake, and I'm going to, give you the sweet and I'll give you the sour. I mean, it reminds me of, remember the old Chris Rock, I take care of my kids bit?
Yeah.
It's like, I take care of my kids. Well, yeah, you're supposed to take care of it. So are we heaping this level of praise on someone for not taking a bribe? Aren't all politicians not supposed to take a bribe?
It just blows my mind, though. So it's like, if you take the bribe, that turns into blackmail down the road.
I'm just fascinated with how many politicians are taking the bribe if the big money boys from Washington, D.C. or wherever back east is feel comfortable enough to float that halfway around the country.
Yep.
And they don't even bother to show up to float it themselves. Of course they wouldn't.
I'm
They don't
sure
wanna get their hands
a
dirty.
lot of them are on the take.
I mean, this is the swamp that we talk about, right?
Yep. Well, how many people transition out of politics into those nice consulting roles? You
Oh.
look at Nikki Haley leaves the UN and then gets that gig with Boeing.
We did an expose on Spencer. I called him Spencer stabbed us in the backus. His name was Spencer Backus. He was a longtime 6th Congressional. He was a Republican. He was a 6th Congressional District Representative prior to Gary Palmer going into the office in outside of Birmingham. And Spencer went into office a middle-class guy.
Yeah.
He was worth like $350,000, something along those lines. When he left office 12 years later, he was worth like $14 million.
But if you open up a good savings account and you have that, you know what I mean? Like some of them, we had a local week. It was the Lowell 5. I got pretty good interest on my savings.
I mean, yeah, you got your checking and your savings.
That's the thing.
And you got your CDs over here.
Yeah.
And if you really know how to manage all your checkings and your savings and your CDs,
anybody can turn a couple $100,000 into several million.
I mean, how easy is that?
Many such cases.
Spencer Backus became a magical Wall Street wizard. It's one of the reasons I gave Mark Green a little business about some of his financial returns. These folks go to D.C. and stuff, magically they become millionaires.
It's a little sus.
Yeah.
Why go to D.C. if you're that good at trading?
It's a little suspect. He wouldn't give me the name, though. Did you hear that?
He wouldn't give you the name of his guy?
Yeah, Green. He wouldn't give me the name of the guy because he said he asked the guy, and the guy asked him not to because the guy's in Clarksville, and and you can judge for yourself whether it's legit or not. He said the guy begged him not to because he's scared that Democrats would come after him. Whatever. It's just a little suspect when people become financial stock market wizards. Or
overnight,
they just become millionaires because of all of these consulting fees that they get from these companies that are willing to pay them $250,000 to give a speech. Or, conversely, they become famous artists where they draw these incredible pieces of art that are worth millions of dollars.
Who wouldn't want a Hunter Biden above the fireplace?
That's better.
Name me one person.
It's better than a Hunter Biden in my bathtub.
Fair enough. What do you got coming up on the show?
We've got a little conversation about Gloria Johnson. I don't know if you've heard, but Gloria Johnson is pro-child rapist, apparently.
Glojo.
So that's cool. And then Cameron Smith, a little establishment Republican in the 2 o'clock hour.
All right, hang out with us. Matt Murphy's on the way next. Brian Wilson after him. Thank you for joining us. The podcast is available on Apple and Spotify. It's The Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.